It's just going to be too crowded this year, Lauren. Your sister's kids need space to play, and you know how small the beach house is. Mom's text glowed on my screen, that familiar cocktail of excuses and exclusion tightening my chest. Maybe next summer. I looked out my corner office window at the construction site just beyond the dunes. Workers were pouring the foundation for what would soon be my own oceanfront sanctuary. A slow smile curved my lips as I typed back, "No problem, Mom. Enjoy your summer." My name is Lauren Bennett, and at 32, I've spent my whole life as the family's afterthought. The quiet one. The dependable one. The one who always made sacrifices so everyone else could be comfortable. Meanwhile, my older sister Hannah, charmed and celebrated, floated through life with her perfect husband and Instagram-ready kids. She was the golden child. I was the single, career-driven workaholic who supposedly didn't care about family gatherings. What they didn't know was that 9 months ago, everything changed. It started over coffee with my grandmother, Eleanor. She slid a crisp envelope across the table, her voice soft but resolute. "The oceanfront property next to your parents' place. It's yours if you want it. I bought it 35 years ago, paid taxes in silence ever since." I blinked, stunned. "But why hide it?" Gran's eyes twinkled with the kind of mischief age never dims. "Because I saw how they treated you, Lauren, always giving Hannah the spotlight, leaving you to stand in the shadows. I wanted you to have something they could never take away." Now, as bulldozers moved sand and beams were stacked high, I remembered every Christmas I'd been asked to stay in a hotel because space was tight. Every summer I'd been bumped from my own bed so Hannah's family could spread out. The pluck Gran left me, triple the size of theirs, with private beach access and a panoramic view of the Atlantic. My phone buzzed again, another text from Mom. "I knew you'd understand, honey. Hannah's twins need the extra room, and she's expecting again." I set the phone down without replying and walked toward Carlo, my architect. "How's the progress?" "Perfect, Miss Bennett. Foundation's nearly done. By July, you'll have the most stunning home on the coast." I smiled, picturing my family's faces when they realized the truth. This summer, the quiet one would own the shoreline. They'd been so wrapped up in Hannah's life, they hadn't even noticed the construction next door. Mom and Dad rarely visited the beach house outside of summer anyway, and Hannah was too busy with her picture-perfect life in Boston to pay attention. That evening, I sat on the deck of my temporary rental overlooking the Atlantic, sea breeze curling through my hair when my phone buzzed. "Hannah." "Hey sis, Mom said you're skipping the beach house this summer. You sure? The kids keep asking about Aunt Lauren." Classic Hannah, guilt wrapped in sugar. "I'm sure," I replied calmly. "Got a few projects to focus on." "You work too hard, Elle. You should loosen up, start a family of your own." As she spoke, a flatbed truck rumbled into my lot, delivering steel beams for tomorrow's build. I smiled. "Don't worry about me. I'm building something special." "Whatever you say. Oh, since you're not using your room, mind if we turn it into the kids' play zone? Olivia's bringing their whole toy kingdom." "Go ahead," I said, my grin widening. "Use whatever you need." After hanging up, I strolled down to the edge of my property and gazed at my parents' weathered beach house. The paint was peeling, the deck sagged. The garden was a jungle. They'd poured everything into accommodating Hannah and her brood, while the house crumbled around them. Mine would be different. A modern coastal masterpiece with soaring glass walls to catch every sunset, a wraparound terrace, and a private dock that would make theirs look like driftwood. 5 bedrooms, each with its own spa-like bath. No more waiting for showers or being told to let the kids go first. As twilight turned the water to gold, I thought of Gran and her secret gift. She hadn't just given me land, she'd given me the freedom to create something permanent, something untouchable. My phone lit again. "Sent pics of the kids in your old room. It's their special spot now. Hope you don't mind." I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled up the renderings for the great room. A 20-foot ceiling, panoramic ocean views, a chandelier that would glint like sunlight on water, visible from every angle of their house. 2 months in, my dream home was rising fast. The frame solid, walls going up, and those floor-to-ceiling windows arriving tomorrow. Sometimes the best way to answer exclusion is with a view they'll never forget. And I was just getting started. From my rented beachfront villa, I could hear the occasional gasps and murmurs from joggers and tourists strolling past, pausing to admire what was quickly becoming the most stunning home on the Atlantic coast. Meanwhile, my family remained blissfully unaware. Mom's daily texts overflowed with photos of Hannah's kids splashing in the waves, her growing baby bump framed in perfect golden hour light, in my old room now filled with Hannah's belongings, on the balcony where I once journaled about dreams too big for that house, at the weathered picnic table where I'd been told countless summers to make space for others. Then, one sunlit afternoon, everything shifted. I was finalizing mood boards with my interior designer when a sharp, familiar voice drifted across the property line. Who on earth would build something so massive here? It's completely dwarfing our... She stopped. I turned slowly to find Mom frozen at the edge of my lot, mouth slack as she took in the sight. Me in linen shorts and sunglasses, standing among blueprints, marble samples, and a rising frame that towered over the sand dunes. "Hi, Mom." I smiled. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" "What? What are you doing here?" Her gaze flicked from me to the gleaming steel beams. "Building my home," I said simply. "Gran left me the property." Her face blanched. "Your grandmother, but she never..." "I've owned this land for 35 years, I confirmed, watching realization settle. "And she left it to me, with enough to create exactly what I wanted." Before Mom could respond, Hannah appeared, her sundress billowing in the sea breeze, twins tugging at her hands. "Patricia, oh my God." Hannah's eyes widened, her perfect Instagram smile faltering as she took in the scale of my home. "So this is why you skipped the beach house this summer, Lauren?" I nodded, savoring her slip of composure. The twins, however, lit up. "Aunt Lauren, are you building a castle?" Sophie squealed, bouncing. "Can we see inside?" Jake added, already inching forward. "Not yet," I laughed. "But when it's done, you'll have your own game room, just for kids." "Lauren," Mom interjected, her voice taut, "can we talk?" "Alone?" I followed her toward the property line. "Why didn't you tell us?" she demanded. "Would it have mattered?" My voice was quiet but firm. "You spent years saying there wasn't room for me, so I built my own." Her lips trembled. "That's not fair. We never meant to exclude you." Arcus needed the space more. Hannah needed the attention more. I met her gaze steadily. "And now? I don't need either. If you want to see what happens when Mom asks for a room in my house and how I respond, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter." "Needed everything more," I repeated softly. Mom fell silent, glancing back at my construction site, where the great room's soaring glass panels were being installed. The Atlantic sunlight bounced off the massive panes like liquid silver. "It's going to be beautiful," she said at last, her voice barely above the ocean breeze. "Yes, it is." I let the words settle. 5 bedrooms, each with its own bathroom, a chef's kitchen, a wraparound deck twice the size of yours, plenty of room for everyone, when I choose to invite them. Her lips tightened at the word choose. Message received. She inhaled sharply, then squared her shoulders. "Your father will want to hear about this." "I'm sure he will," I replied smoothly. "Just like I'm sure Hannah will suddenly clear her schedule. Amazing how a better house changes everything, isn't it?" As if on cue, my phone buzzed. A text from Hannah lit the screen. "Mom just told me. Why didn't you say anything? We could have helped." I tilted the phone toward Mom with a raised brow. "See? Already starting." She flushed, color creeping across her cheeks. "We've made mistakes, Lauren. Big ones, apparently." "Yes," I said evenly. "But this isn't revenge. This is me carving out my own space. A place where I don't need permission to exist." Down by the edge of the lot, Hannah's twins pressed their noses against the temporary construction barrier, giggling as they peeked at the skeleton of my dream home. Their excitement was pure, untouched by family politics. "Can we visit when it's done, Aunt Lauren?" Sophie shouted, eyes wide with wonder. "Of course," I called back, locking eyes with Mom. "There's always room for family who actually want to be here." Her gaze softened, the weight of my words landing silently. She turned to go, then paused. "Your grandmother, she must have really understood." "She did," I said quietly. "She saw everything." "If we lose," Shiloh said, "she's lonelier than ever." As they walked back toward the old beach house, Mom deep in thought, Hannah tugging reluctant twins, I felt a swell of peace. This wasn't just a house. It was a statement, a declaration of worth no one could erase. That evening, I sat on my rental's terrace, toasting the sunset with a glass of wine. "Thank you, Gran," I whispered, "for giving me the chance to build something bigger than their expectations." My phone buzzed again, Dad this time. "We need to talk about this house situation." I smiled, set the phone aside, and watched the horizon glow. The time for talking was over. It was time to build. Late August brought the finishing touches to my coastal masterpiece. The landscaping team had just completed a lush privacy wall of palms and seagrass, creating a serene barrier between my property and my parents' weather-beaten beach house. My sleek, modern dock stretched further into the turquoise waters, boasting a covered boat slip and a sun deck that captured every last shimmer of the summer sunset. The contrast between our properties couldn't have been more dramatic. As white glove crews delivered my custom furniture, I noticed sudden chaos next door. Mom was yanking weeds from a neglected garden. Dad had a repair crew hammering away at their sagging dock, and surprise, Hannah had finally shown up outside her scheduled summer visit, kids in tow. For the first time she'd ever come, in late August. "Lauren," she called out, jogging toward my property line, oversized sunglasses perched on her head. "The house looks incredible." "Thanks," I replied coolly, checking off items on my delivery list. "Listen, James and I were thinking—" "No." I didn't let her finish. Her smile faltered. "You don't even know what I was going to say. You were about to suggest moving your family's summer stay to my house instead," I said, meeting her gaze. "The answer is no." Her cheeks flushed pink. "Come on, Elle. The kids would love it, and with the new baby—" "Hannah," I cut her off sharply. "This isn't your backup beach house. This is my home." She exhaled hard, hands on her hips. "Why are you being so difficult? We're family." I laughed softly. "Funny, I'm only family when you need something. Where was that energy all those years I was told there wasn't room for me?" Before she could answer, Dad appeared, face tight. "Everything okay here?" "Perfect," I said, turning back to my clipboard. Hannah was just leaving. That evening, as the last crate was unpacked, I stood in my great room, floor-to-ceiling glass framing an Atlantic sunset painted in molten gold and rose. The doorbell chimed. Mom stood there, tentative. "Can I come in?" I nodded. She stepped inside, her gaze sweeping over soaring ceilings, gleaming floors, and a chef's kitchen that seemed lifted from a magazine. "It's magnificent, Lauren," she whispered. "Your grandmother would have loved it." "She helped design it," I said softly. "Before she passed, we spent hours planning. She knew what this meant to me." Mom sank onto a bar stool, her shoulders drooping. "We were wrong about so much. We thought we were being fair, giving Hannah more because of her kids. But we pushed you away." I let the silence linger, the weight of her words settling in a room Gran had once only dreamed of. "Did you ever wonder," I asked, steady but soft, "why Gran left this to me, and not to all of us?" Mom's eyes welled with tears. "Because she saw what we couldn't, or wouldn't see. She saw you, Lauren, all of you, not just the parts that fit into our perfect little family picture." She swallowed hard. "She saw how much it hurt every time we chose Hannah, every time we told you to stay away, every time you felt like you didn't belong." A creak at the doorway made us both turn. Dad stood there, shifting uncomfortably in my grand foyer. The contractor quoted us 20 grand to update the kitchen, he said, avoiding my gaze. Said it would boost the property value. I almost laughed. Dad, I said gently, this was never about property values. It's about having my own place, where I don't have to apologize for existing. He nodded slowly, finally meeting my eyes. We got it wrong, didn't we? Yes, I agreed, but that doesn't mean we can't get it right from here. I walked to the kitchen, pulled out 3 glasses and poured wine. Stay for dinner? I offered. Just us. No Hannah, no James, no kids. Let's talk about moving forward. They accepted. Around my dining table, as boats lazily drifted across the lake outside, something shifted. The conversation was awkward at first. Years of silent pain hung in the air. But it was a start. Later, after they left, I stepped onto my deck and looked at the 2 houses side by side. My parents' beach house, faded but full of memories, both warm and painful. And mine, built on Grand's love and my strength, a testament to choosing myself when others wouldn't. My phone buzzed, a text from Hannah. Mom says you're hosting Thanksgiving this year. I smiled and typed back, yes, but only for those who appreciate being invited, not those who expect it. As the last light faded from the sky, I raised my glass once more. To Gran. She gave me more than a house. She gave me the courage to build a life beside those who tried to diminish me. Sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't about getting even. It's about building something so magnificent they can't ignore what they lost. And as I looked at my home, I knew I'd built exactly that. If you've been following my story, you know what it feels like to be overlooked, pushed aside, and told there isn't space for you, whether in a family, a home, or even in your own life. I've lived that quiet pain for years, always the one who had to make room for everyone else's happiness. But this journey isn't just about a house. It's about claiming your worth, your voice, and your place in the world, even when those closest to you don't see it right away. I hope my story encourages you to stand firm when others doubt you, to build your own space, whether physical, emotional, or professional, where you don't have to ask permission to exist. If you've ever felt invisible, I want you to know you are seen, you are worthy, and sometimes the greatest power comes from quietly creating something so real and strong that no one can ignore it. Please support me by subscribing to this channel and joining this journey. Your encouragement means the world, because stories like mine only grow stronger when we share them together. Leave a comment below telling me about a time you had to claim your own space or overcome being overlooked. How did you find your strength? What advice would you give to someone still struggling to be heard? Life teaches us that respect and love often start with how we respect and love ourselves. Don't wait for others to hand you permission. Build your dreams, set your boundaries, stand tall, and remember, your story is your power. Thank you for being here with me.